In 1986, Nintendo blew minds with The Legend of Zelda, a game so frequently emulated, pun intended, that it's easy to forget just how revolutionary it was. The game had a shiny gold cartridge, catchy music, a huge world to explore, and a save feature that meant you could entertain basements full of kids for months. So head out to Hyrule with us, and don't worry, we aren't going alone. We mixed up some red health potion to fortify us for that final fight with Ganon. Drink up and keep those heart containers full. It's time for episode 19 of Toasting the Classics, The Legend of Zelda.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Toasting Classics, episode 18 or 19?
19.
19.
19. Somehow, Apple Podcast is labeling it automatically.
Freaking Apple.
And incorrectly.
It's a conspiracy. It has something to do with the government, I'm sure of it.
Could be.
Probably. We've already had some tragedy here, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Dave has sadly lost a member of his family.
Don't get too heavy. People are going to think you're serious.
He's been connected to since he was 10 years old. So that was like 50 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. He spilled cocktail on his cheat book. I mean, I get the sentimentality.
It was the official Nintendo Player's Guide that came with the NES when I finally got it, which was late. I was like one of the last people to get it.
Let me see it. Can I check it out?
Sure.
If you don't mind me touching it.
It's definitely beat up. But that was, I used to carry that with me in my backpack everywhere I went for like a couple of years after
Nerd
I got
alert!
it.
Official Nintendo
But it's just got basically
a complete review of you got this with your NES?
Yeah, it just came with.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Just for a little while, it was in there. It has maps and it has like descriptions of the characters.
Oh,
it's really not a lot of cheat
it's not a cheat. Okay,
it is a map. The map helps. But.
So it's information to the most popular games. You got Super Mario Brothers, Metroid, Legend of Zelda, Kid Icarus, Zelda 2, Excite Bike, Mach Rider, Rad Racer, Kung Fu, which is actually one of my favorites.
really like that game. Yeah, that was
Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Oh my God.
Yep.
Hogan's Alley, so you had the gun too.
I feel like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, they actually have the codes to skip forward, maybe.
I don't look. That'll ruin
I'm not sure.
Ruin my childhood.
One of the first games I got was Ghosts and Goblins, which was like
I remember
fiendishly difficult, and that's not a pun. I did not intend that pun, but it's a like fiendishly difficult game, and there's a stage select code in this book that doesn't work.
Oh.
And I must have tried it 1,000 times. I'd be like, maybe I'm doing it wrong. I tried it
again. I remember the cover for that because they had like the green ghost and goblins and stuff on the cover, right? And it was, video games never held up anyway.
No,
to
it didn't look as good as the cover. No.
But there were certain ones that kind of, you can kind of get by. Top Gun, Zelda, for example. But that one in particular, I felt was terrible. When compared to the cover.
Not truth in advertising there. Yeah,
compared to the box. But anyway, well, welcome to this episode of Toasting the Classics. Today we are doing Dave's pick. By the way, I'm Clint Lanier.
Yeah, Dave McArthur.
This is the episode, or this is the podcast where what do? We
take a classic.
Take a classic.
Talk about the classic.
Talk about the classic.
Drink a drink related to the classic.
Can't call it a classic, though, because what we do is we decide if it's a classic.
We take something that someone calls a classic,
and
then we decide.
And a supposed, quote-unquote,
and
classic.
then we decide whether it actually is a classic.
Right.
And the word goes out over the internet, and all the according lists of top 100 and thing have to be changed.
Because what does anybody else know? AFI, they don't know anything about movies.
No, not compared to
Gaming magazines don't know anything about it.
Not compared to the knowledge that's bumping around in these two dogs.
Yeah, exactly, right. So that's what we do, and that's what we're doing today, and we are doing it with, as Dave mentioned, his free choice, which was...
The Legend of Zelda, the original 1986 NES cartridge for the basic Nintendo Entertainment System, 8-bit.
NES, that's right.
Yeah, we're talking about that today. I got to play it. I actually still own it.
Okay.
It's the original cartridge that I played when I was a kid.
Gold cartridge.
I can't understand how the battery for saving still works.
I don't know.
I do not understand how that's possible.
I don't know.
It's the first game ever that had the ability to save, and it was because there was a battery inside, and it was a heavier cartridge because of it. I looked in there, we bought this, we've had this game since I was a kid. My brother played it, my daughter played it, so people have been playing it for like 30 years.
Right.
And it still works. It's got my daughter's saved game from like 15 years ago on there.
Right.
So
I don't know. It's a miracle. Miracle of Nintendo. But it does work. I mean, it works on mine too. But
So how did you play?
Well, sadly, my NES doesn't work.
I have an emulator.
I hooked everything up, which made my kids really excited. Put the cartridge in, hit power, and it did this blinking on and off thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked it up. What is the blinking on and off? Now, this is an original NES, so it's probably from, I don't think it was from 86, maybe 87, 88, something like that. But I looked it up, and apparently the contacts on the the thing inside are just they're gone.
Yeah.
It said you can clean them, and there's this elaborate post on how to clean them or just replace them. So I'm gonna have to, go to Amazon and request.
I went in. So I do have the NES, the old one that I had, and it does work. Karina got me, my wife got me one that plays NES and Super Nintendo.
Oh, I see.
Like an emulator. So that's new. But my old one, what I did is it wasn't working. You'd get, blobs of graphics and stuff like that when you tried to put in a game. So I went in with a set of needle nose pliers and straightened out each of the pins manually, getting ready to just throw it away. And then I put in a game and it worked just fine. I couldn't believe it. I was
Do not throw it away. Never.
No, I'm not throwing it away. No, but I was like, I am not. I don't know if you know me and like technology and things like that. I am not a guy who fixes his own electronics.
Say what?
Like this was really random that worked. So
the blog post on like Fixya or iFixit.com or something like that. Not sponsors, by the way, but we need sponsors, so give us a call. It said I need to take like some like electrical cleaning solution.
Okay.
It had all these elaborate brands and soak a Q-tip in them, and then like gently rub each of the pins. I think there's 14 on top, 14 on bottom.
Sounds about
something
right.
like that. I was like, all right, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
I'll be replacing that pretty soon. So anyway, I played it on my Mac, and it was with a Mac emulator.
Okay.
NES emulator for the Mac.
Right.
And it was a complete pain in the arse. Complete. Yeah. See, I said it different, so you don't have to censor that.
But we have UK listeners, by the way.
Oh, crud! He's training me, ladies and gentlemen. No, it was
smack you on the nose with a newspaper every time.
Right.
I swear.
But it was terrible. It was I hated playing it like that. Use arrow keys.
Oh yeah, it's
and
rough.
then it's the X and Z are the A and B buttons. Enter is basically start or select. God, it was so hard. It was so hard playing like that. I think I got to the first dungeon. We talked about this because you were bragging about getting to like the 5th dungeon.
I got to the 5th. Yeah, I put in about.
He must have sent me like 5 different texts. He's like,
screenshots of every.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got the raft. I got the ladder.
One doing him, doing a dance and stuff like that. I got to the first one. Couldn't defeat the boss, the dragon dude.
The first boss?
Yeah.
The first boss it's not the dragon. The dragon's the 3rd one.
Is it?
Yeah. The first one is the Triceratops that you have to throw a bomb into its mouth.
Sorry, Triceratops. Yeah.
There is a dragon.
Yeah, but he comes later?
Yeah, he's the 3rd.
Is he like a big green dragon?
Big green dragon with 2 heads that shoots fire.
No, this one, sorry. Yeah, so
goes by the name of Gleeok.
Gleeok. Thank you. And so I just could not really function with the arrow keys and
it's hard.
The X and Z. I mean, the controller is so much nicer, and you can see why. I mean, which is why the thing was so damn popular, right?
Right.
Because you got the little thumbstick.
I remember the transition from joystick to the
Atari,
gamepad, and I just remember it being like a revelation.
Oh, it was.
Because the joystick was kind of fun, and it was good for some games, but
Well, the joystick was easy, but it was clumsy. I mean, it's easy to work. Like a toddler could work it, but that's about as advanced as it could get.
Yeah.
You couldn't do anything really fun with it. Had one button.
We had Street Fighter. Right? Street Fighter 2 was super popular with my crew when we were in high school. And we used to go play at the arcade, and then sometimes, and then we had it at home. But my friend was really important to him to win when we were at the arcade, and he was like, "I'm playing at home, and I'm not practicing enough." So he actually had his parents go out and get him a joystick to emulate the arcade. So when he played at home, he'd be like training for the arcade. I also had another friend who, when we were in college, built a Dance Dance Revolution unit at home so he could play well at the arcade. That was pretty hardcore. We were like 26, 27 years old when that happened.
Yeah, I was trying to imagine your crew.
Yeah. That was a different crew.
Yeah, so I had a terrible time playing it. I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed gameplay.
Okay.
Because you just enjoyed it anyway.
But you didn't get any Triforce.
I mean, I was struggling to clear rooms, man. I mean, I really was. I would just, if I had the controller, I don't want to brag, but I would have slaughtered people. I mean, this is like Gauntlet or one of those types of games. I
always thought the gameplay on this game was hard. It's hard to line things up just right. When you turn, it's hard to turn.
It's a lot easier.
It's a lot easier with the controller. Gamepad than it is. That's true.
Because you cannot turn with arrow buttons. I mean, it's just impossible because you're always moving. So you can't just turn.
Yeah.
Instead, you like move up and then turn, and then there's a tree in your way or something like that,
Right.
and you can't go anywhere, and then you get shot. So I made do with what I could. I played it for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's commitment to the craft. If
Well, it
you
was
didn't even get past the first dungeon.
I know. It was just, it was fun seeing how far I could get and kill things.
Yeah.
So that was a good time. Well, I mean, I hacked my way through. The problem also with an emulator is it'll save it. It'll save your gameplay, but you have to keep the browser window open. So I played it over the course for about 3 days. That was like 8 hours in a sitting or something like that. So I would have to keep, I'd have to pause it.
You can just like screen save it anywhere you are, right?
No.
Really?
I mean, you're really limited to what menu options you had. You couldn't really do very much at all.
Because when I had an emulator years and years ago.
On the computer?
On the computer, on the laptop. And I had the same difficulties with the motions, but I could hit F5 at any point and just be at that point of the game. I managed to beat some games. I managed to beat some games that I could never beat when I was a kid.
Cool.
Like I think I beat Castlevania finally.
Well, you know what's funny?
Super hard.
Yeah, what's funny is Wolfenstein. I had that. But so I think it's whoever makes the emulator and puts it out because it's freeware, and somebody has to. The one I got, so I tried 2 different ones. First one was a total flop. Second one was better, but it didn't have that option. I mean, I could save it from wherever I was. So if I got to a stage, it would save and I can go back to that stage. But so let's hear about
Did you try to research like what you're supposed to do, or did you just?
I tried to, but the problem is. Emulators have been around for a while, so I'd find Reddit threads from like 2015.
I mean, in the game, did you try to like look at the map and figure out where you're supposed to go, or did you just wander around?
No, no, because you have to find the map in the game that I was playing. I didn't have a map.
I mean, I looked on the internet and found a map of like the overworld and stuff like that, which we used to have one. It came with a map, actually.
Right.
Which I forgot about that till just this second. Right. There used to be a map that was super useful.
You know that block where the map was?
You mean the dungeons where you've got the thing up top? When you get the map, it shows you what you're looking at.
Yeah, so the top.
Yeah. One of the worst things and actually it's the same guy from what I gathered that wrote this one and Super Mario Brothers.
Right.
There's at Super Mario Brothers, I want to say like World either 8-3 or 8-4, and you go to the final Bowser Castle.
Who is
Shigeru Miyamoto. Right. There was this thing they used to do, and you get to this stage, and there's 2 passages, and you have to go up, up, down, down, up, down, just right, so you can get to the final boss and beat him in Super Mario Brothers. When I was a kid, I got to that part, and I was like, I guess I'm not playing this game anymore, because how would I know?
Yeah.
You know,
you're done.
And it was the same thing with this. There's one of the boards where there's an area called the Lost Hills.
Yeah.
And you have to just know to go 4 screens to the north, and then all of a sudden the secret opens up and you can get there. Well, and for me as a kid, if it was something like that, I was going to have to brute force my way to figure out how to do it. I would just quit the game because it was.
Well, usually what happens, you hear it on the playground. Because some kid,
I think I did
learned from
Zelda.
learned from his big brother who found out about it in the library one day or something like that.
Yep.
I think there was one stage where I was reading about it earlier, where if you entered your name as Zelda, it would unlock something at the very end.
That's right,
or something like that.
I feel like maybe that takes you to the second quest right away.
Yeah, I think something like that.
Something like that. Which I never played the second quest.
Me neither.
I was happy I beat the first quest, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I don't need to do this anymore. Like, it's just the same thing.
Plus, you could do it again, but like in a harder mode. I think it unlocks like a
second
more
quest
difficult.
is harder. So they say. Yeah. I don't even think you start with your items or anything. I think you're
So why did you pick this? Why is this a classic? Why do you consider this a classic?
Well, I have great memories of it. I just have memories of like playing this with friends. Like one of the best things, and actually it just occurred to me, you would not have any experience of this. We'd have snow days, and it would just be like go sledding for a couple of hours, then come in the house and play Nintendo for like 8 hours straight. And everybody's like doesn't want to go, and it's like if you're like comfortable, and you have like a mug of hot cocoa and stuff like that. Those are some of my best memories of being little, just hanging out with the guys in the neighborhood. And this was one we played. This one's pretty straightforward. There was this other game I remember, Goonies 2, which was the same kind of thing, like an open world that you had to explore, a really long game to beat, except you couldn't save. So you couldn't turn off the game.
Man, what a pain.
We played for like 7 hours one time, and my next door neighbor, this kid Randy, lashed out with his foot accidentally and kicked the Nintendo, hit the power button, and turned it off. And I could still remember that sense of disappointment from 35 years ago.
See, this would not have been one that my friends and I would have played because it's a single player, and there's nothing.
We take turns.
Well, there's nothing worse than sitting around watching somebody else play video game.
That was my theory too. But do you know what one of the biggest income streams on the internet is now?
Twitchy.
People sitting and watching other people play video games. Yeah. Somebody told me about the existence of that when it first came out, and that was my response. I was like, that is the dumbest idea ever. The worst thing about playing video games is watching other people
My kids
play.
watch it to see how to do it. And
Yeah, that makes sense.
But sitting around with your friends, like, yeah, Dave, you're doing really good for the last hour and a half.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, boy, it's getting late. I'm gonna go home. I hear my mom calling me for dinner.
Yeah, it's a really different experience of it. I don't really. I mean, I guess you watch somebody who's like chatting about it. And
I guess we would always play like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter.
Sure.
Actually, a big one was X-Men because you could play like I think
that,
4 players, maybe even 5. But there's a lot of players that you could play.
Yeah. Well, we did GoldenEye. That was later.
Yeah,
that was when I was in college. We used to play.
Well, Golden Axe was like 3 or 4 players.
Golden Axe, you could have 2 players on the screen. Yeah.
Contra had 2.
Contra had 2. Yeah, definitely.
So we'd try to play those. I mean, so we wouldn't like this would not have been one that we would have played like amongst friends. This would have been one that we locked ourselves in the room and played.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't have it. Is why I played it at friends' houses. I didn't get this one until like I think when I was in the first part of high school. I had sort of a renaissance where I was like, oh, they opened up a video game shop with used games, and I would go over there and I could buy these games for like less than $10.
Right.
So I'd go and get an old NES game. I think that's where I got this one. I don't think I had.
I don't know when I got this. I think I got these either late in high school or out of high school because the NES system we have at home is my wife's.
Okay.
We have an NES and a Super NES. So she was spoiled.
I lost my Super Nintendo and all the games I had for it. I think someone took it from my college house that I lived in.
Yeah.
No, we had people steal stuff a lot. It wasn't exactly a sequel to GoldenEye, but there was this game that came out a couple of years later, and I'm blanking on what it was called. And everybody was really excited to play it, and it came out, and we had a party. Somebody took the game during the party. Yeah.
So you had a playing party and somebody took the game?
No. We had like one.
Oh, you just had a party.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had one of these parties where the rule was we would start to worry. We'd throw a party, we'd have a couple of kegs, and we'd be like, oh no, like nobody's coming. It was like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And I would go to the bathroom at 11:29 and walk back out at 11:30.
It was totally packed.
And there were 100 people in my
and you're
house.
like, no, it's too big.
It happened every time. Suddenly it was scary big.
Right.
Like there were people like you were afraid.
Start freaking out.
We had a helicopter show up one time. It was very exciting. So.
Police helicopter?
A police helicopter,
yeah. Okay. Well.
No. We invited Richard Branson
to
come to the party.
Well,
he landed in the backyard on our helipad.
I don't know who you went to school with.
No. I did not go to school.
I went
to school with the kind of people that built their own Dance Dance Revolution pads.
That's true.
It's very different.
Yeah, but those are the kind of people that are now working probably at Facebook and making a lot more money than us.
Who, my guys?
I guess. Somebody that would build your...
We're doing okay. Everybody's doing okay.
We're just regular guys. Regular.
I'm thinking, talking about all this partying, I'm thinking it's Friday night. I think we go to the drink.
I think so, absolutely.
So what I did was I looked up, this is a lot like what I did for Hitchhikers.
Okay.
I looked up a cocktail related to Zelda, and what I found was the Red Health Potion.
Okay.
So it is a concoction of cranberry juice, raspberry vodka, a splash of Sprite, and a dash of lime.
Okay.
And as I started to pour it, I realized the proportions of vodka are, shall we say, generous.
Oh.
So that's what we have to face this evening. I didn't do it's not anything special for the vodka that I got or anything like that.
I don't know if you can do special cranberry vodka or raspberry vodka.
Well, you know what? Oddly enough, I went down to Kelly's and I was like, man, they're not going to have raspberry vodka.
No, they have.
They had 6 or 7 different brands
they have
of
but it's all like
vodka.
$12 a bottle or something because it's
cheap.
Yeah, it's typically crap.
It was cheap. This was about $13. Yeah. So, it was a little more than that, but still.
I mean, getting straight unflavored vodka.
Yeah.
You can spend $50. Well, cheers.
We got some crystal glasses that I smuggled in.
Very nice.
I actually dropped one of these a couple of days ago, and it just bounced.
Held
I picked
up.
it right back
That's
up. I was
heavy
very
glass.
impressed.
Wow. Ooh, that's sweet.
Is it?
Yeah, it is sweet to me. It's not to you?
I just taste the cranberry. I don't really taste the sweet. I taste the, what is that, bitter, I guess? The taste of cranberry is pretty much bitter.
I guess so.
There's not too much sweet in there. I like cranberry.
You don't think so?
No, not
Cranberry
really.
juice is sweet.
Yeah, it's mostly vodka. It's about 2/3 vodka, so...
All right.
Pace yourself accordingly.
Right.
Keep that in mind. We don't want to have a replay of the Enter the Dragon episode.
So
which I thought was a hilarious episode.
One of my favorites.
It's one of my favorites. I listened to it again. I really enjoyed it. It doesn't get as many downloads as some of the other ones.
For some reason, my braces give me this real bad speech impediment. It sounds like I'm drunk.
My braces.
Yeah, I know. Right. But so let's get nerdy for a minute here.
Okay, let's do it.
Talk about the legacy.
The legacy.
Yeah, I mean,
the legacy is.
Hold on, because I asked you why do you think this is a classic, and you answered with, basically, it made me feel good.
Yeah.
I like to play it when I was a kid.
Well, okay.
So there's got to be more to it than that, right?
To distill it, and the reason why we liked it so much, the save feature was brand new.
Okay.
So it's technically like a sandbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go into this overworld, and you can go anywhere on the map, essentially. There's a few items you get that open up other areas. I had never seen a game like that. Everything before it was side-scrolling, linear, moving to the next stage, And even that was an advance, if you remember, from Atari, which Atari was just like, most of the games were just one screen that would get faster and more difficult until it killed you. There was no winning the game.
Well, we did Wolfenstein.
We did Wolfenstein.
And Wolfenstein
had, you could beat.
Yeah, well, and it had that kind of expanding universe. As you watch along, it would open up to you.
Right.
And you could go anywhere.
That's true.
Well, I can't remember. Was it top down? Wolfenstein was top down.
Yeah, it was sprites
wasn't it?
like this. It was the same as this.
So
it was top-down sprites moving around. It's kind of similar in a way, although it's much more simplistic than what Zelda is.
So that was like 4 years, because it was 84, right? Well, it's within a few years.
It's early, very early.
I would assume that they probably used whatever engine, Castle Wolfenstein, they probably used that for this as well, or expanded on it.
Maybe.
Because it was the first of this kind. I mean, everything else, you had like a box, and then there's like all this latency.
So you only did the first dungeon. Did you get to some of the ones where there are so many sprites on the screen that it starts to slow down?
On the emulator,
probably not on the emulator.
On the emulator, it slowed down anyway.
Yeah.
Actually, it was terrible.
On the old cartridge, the one I was playing, I distinctly remember being in a room, and I can't remember what enemies they were, but there were about 10 of them. Oh, it was the blobs that explode and turn into 2 bats. So I ended up having like 10 enemies on the screen at once, and everything started to slow down, and I literally like aimed at one of them and killed it, and then it went normal again, like it sped back up again.
Okay.
I was like, okay,
it was
that
just
actually worked.
One less one.
Just one less was what it could handle. So I was getting the money, right? Rupees, which is an actual currency from the real world.
Right.
So I guess back in 1986 they figured, people don't know what the currency of India
There's
is.
not going to be some like box that comes along that gives people information on stuff, right?
Not really, no. I mean, they had a little booklet, right, that had some background, things like that.
Yeah.
It was kind of a nice one. You had the map and stuff like that. But anyway, so I was going through, and I was going to these different caves where you could get like rupee bonuses. Oh, that's right. It caps out at 255 rupees. And this is what I always think with these old games. Where is that information stored? Because I knew it right away. As soon as it started to get high, I was like, oh, that's right. It caps out at 255. And I'm like, so somewhere in my brain,
right,
in Zelda, like, I just think that's the strangest thing.
Well, it's some type of weird imprinting that happens when you're a kid. Because I think if you were to play, like if you were like 75 now and you played it when you were 45, I don't know if that knowledge would be there.
I don't think it's the same. No,
I don't think. I mean, this is a big event. Playing video games. When I was a kid, playing video games was a big thing.
Sure.
My kids totally take it for granted. I mean, they play crap all the time.
Right.
And it's so ubiquitous. It's so
this
convenient.
was like one of the things we did when we were kids.
Right.
Right.
No, we didn't do it all the time. And plus,
right. I think that's why our generation, it never even occurred to people that it could be unhealthy. Because it was just one of the things you did. You'd go to the movies sometimes.
But see, I remember my mom complaining about us watching TV for too long.
Yeah, because people would do that for more time than they would play video games.
Right, so
video games weren't good enough.
It's going to melt your brain. Remember that? You're going to rot your brain or something stupid like that. And they'd have the boob tube, and they had all these other terms for it. And
do you remember in Back to the Future 2?
Yeah.
He comes home to his house, and his son's sitting in front of the TV.
Right.
And he says, watching a little TV for a change. And when I saw that, when it came out in like 1990, I was like, I wonder what else he would be doing other than watching TV. By the time 2015 came around, I was like, oh, he'd be playing video games or be on the internet.
Right.
So a dad in 2015 would actually come home and be like, oh, you're watching some TV for a change.
Yeah,
That's
right.
nice.
Instead of
what we do now. I thought that was.
So far, we have that. You enjoyed it as a kid, and it had a save. So it has save function,
save feature,
a few other things.
The open environment.
That's why it's
the overworld. All that stuff was new to me. I mean, that was, and it is genuinely new. Like when you go back and do a little research on it, it was the first time anybody did those things.
Yeah,
I think it was getting towards the limits of what the NES was capable of.
I think you're probably right. I think you're probably
there were
right.
some games with better graphics and things that came along. I want to say, when do you feel like you stopped buying NES 8-bit?
Well, I never bought them. I would say that we switched to Sega.
What do you mean? Did you steal them? Or you mean your parents bought them?
No, my friends. My friends had them all.
Okay.
Remember, it was until I was like late teens or something like that, I got one of these. See, what happened was I was getting hand-me-downs from my other friends.
Yeah, okay.
So I got an Atari 2600 in like 86 or something like that.
Yeah, that's a little late.
When my friend got an NES.
Nintendo, yeah. I had the same.
Like I skipped over the GameCube. I skipped over, or is that what it's called?
There is a GameCube.
Yeah.
But
And
that's
and the
around
Super NES.
1997 or so.
But we went to, I think it was
64.
Sega, which is the one, I think Mortal Kombat. It was
Mortal
Sega.
Kombat was Genesis.
Okay, Sega Genesis.
Well,
so
they put it out on Super Nintendo, but there was no blood, so it wasn't very popular.
I think we skipped right to that. And again, it wasn't mine. It was all my friends,
Right.
living in the house that we rented when I was going to college. So I don't remember buying actually an NES cartridge until the last 5 years when I bought it kind of as a retro thing because my kids wanted to do it. I bought Top Gun.
Yeah, I had Top Gun. Well, no, a friend of mine had Top Gun.
X-Men.
That was when we played at party.
How about you?
How about me? When was the last time I got it?
Yeah.
I think the Star Wars game came out, I think when I was in high school, maybe 8th grade or 9th grade, and I got that, and I got Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
And I was really excited. And that was the last game I got because I was waiting for Return of the Jedi to come out. And they decided they weren't going to do it, and that's when I transitioned to Super Nintendo.
Okay.
I was like, all right. The only game I had for a long time was Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball. It was the dumbest game.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was really. You could
That
build your own
sounds
team,
fantastic.
and it was kind of like Tecmo Bowl or something. But it was like
those console days are fun though. I mean, I had a lot actually, and I have to say that before we had the Atari, before I got the Atari 2600, I had a Commodore 64 which played Atari games. It had space for 2 joysticks and everything else. So
you mean you could put an Atari cartridge
Yes.
into the 60? I didn't know that.
yeah, you sure could. And then it had slots where you could put in the exact same joysticks as Atari.
Okay.
In the Commodore, and so that's what we would play.
You know what? One thing I learned about, I think I watched like a history of video games documentary or something. There was a video game service they had in the 80s where you could get games over the internet and play them on a system at home.
Over the internet?
Yeah, people had a modem and they just over the phone and they download these games.
That must have taken
imagine
forever.
how long it took, and your parents must have been like, of course, nobody who had this would be
Yeah.
grown-ups playing video games, I imagine. It did exist. It didn't do very well, but it did exist, and it was actually like a released product.
It's ahead of its time.
I want to say, I don't remember who the quote is from, but somebody said that the future is always here. It's just not evenly distributed.
Huh.
And it's like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The internet existed in like 1985.
Right.
But nobody had
Well,
it except for a couple
What
of
was
select
that
people.
Matthew Broderick movie, War Games?
Yeah, he had a modem.
When that had to be like 84?
83, I think.
83.
I think
okay.
that's 1980. It could be 84, yeah.
Do you
83,
remember,
84.
are you old enough to remember, because I am.
Love that movie. That's on my list, by the way. I love it.
Do you remember playing video games where you had to take the floppy out, put the second floppy in? Any
Oh,
game.
sure, yeah, like King's Quest and things like that.
Ninja Gaiden?
No, Ninja Gaiden was, well, on NES was
No,
one
no.
cartridge.
Well, no, on computer in
Oh,
like
no, I didn't have
1983
that,
or 84, something like
No, I
that. It was
didn't have
great. Take the floppy out, and it was a 5.5-inch floppy. Take that out.
Oh,
put in
Ninja
disc.
Gaiden. That reminds me of something I wanted to say about this game, Zelda.
Okay.
So I was playing this afternoon, and I want to say in the second or third dungeon, there's a bit where you can upgrade your boomerang.
Okay.
You get the boomerang. That's the magic boomerang.
Right.
Goes all the way across the screen. It's a pretty good item.
Yeah.
Not really necessary for the game in any way, but it's an upgrade.
Yeah.
So I went in to go get it, and it was like in this room where there was like things shooting at you, and those guys that you have to stab from the side.
Yeah.
Do you remember those?
Yeah.
They're dark nuts, I think they're called. I don't know who
Yeah.
came up with that name. Anyway.
Probably translated.
So I
different.
kept trying to play it, and I got killed like 5 times. I finally killed everybody. The boomerang popped up, and I went towards it, got shot by the statue, like right before. And I had this burst of irrational anger.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I remember this, like being a kid.
And
I
were
felt like I was
you
gonna,
that mad before?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, like playing Ninja Gaiden especially. Oh, I'd get so mad. Like I'd want to break the controllers.
I loved Ninja Gaiden just because of the throwing stars.
Yeah, but oh man, you had to know exactly. There were these eagles that would shoot down from this.
Yeah, I
you
know.
had to know exactly where they were going to be.
It was such a fun game because it reflected the movies of the time, like American Ninja.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were really obsessed with ninjas. I remember us being really obsessed with ninjas and Doberman Pinschers.
In defense of us,
in the early 80s.
In defense of us, ninjas are pretty sweet.
Ninjas are cool, but then all of a sudden they went away.
Yeah.
Like just overnight.
Yeah, I think
we don't care about ninjas
tipping
anymore.
point with coolness of ninjas was when Vanilla Ice did a dance number in the second Ninja Turtle movie.
That might be true.
I think that's where I was like, oh, ninjas are not necessarily
Or it might
cool.
just be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I loved
killed.
the first Ninja Turtles movie. I love the comic. I mean, I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I'm not saying it would hold up. That would be fun. I really did enjoy that first movie. Like I said, I haven't seen it since then, but it was based on my favorite.
It's the same movie. You don't have to
comics.
revisit it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Have you played any of the most recent Zeldas?
No,
No,
I haven't. I had the one for
Oh,
64.
man. I should have brought my kids
Do they have
Switch in? Yeah.
What the heck is it?
No, there's one for Switch that my daughter has. It's freaking beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. It's playing, a CGI anime. It really is. It's absolutely beautiful. And I mean, everything from the beasts to the monsters, the gameplay.
I can't even remember what the most modern Nintendo system is, but my friend's son has it and he was playing it. It's beautiful.
Well, Switch is the most. Yeah, Switch is it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Switch
Switch
is the one for home play, like for the.
Well,
this was on the big big
Yeah,
screen
no.
TV.
So
at
Switch
home.
is a Switch. I mean, they're really smart. They took a gaming console and they put it in your hands.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a big.
But it can like Bluetooth to the.
No. There's like this little kind of pedestal that it sits in.
Okay.
And it just connects right from there. So I
Okay,
mean, it
And
has an
this was a
amazing processor in it. I mean, the gameplay on it, the graphics, it's an amazing. And that's why it's like It's like $400 for this this handheld console.
Ocarina of Time. That's
Uh-huh.
what it was. That was the one on the 64. That's the last Zelda I played,
Okay.
and that's 25 years ago. So I have not kept up.
Well, the
with it,
graphics
but-
were getting good back then.
It was
I
pretty
mean,
good. It was
do you
a good
remember
game.
Final Fantasy?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Right. And
That was
and
another
do you remember,
one.
Do you remember Myst?
Yes, but that was a PC game.
Yeah, it was a
is what I
PC game.
remember,
But
yeah.
I mean, like the graphics. I mean, we're talking '94. The graphics were pretty amazing back
Go back
then.
and look at it again. It's not what you're.
Well, I remember-
it was phenomenal for the time.
I remember at
but
the time being pretty
yes,
awesome.
Yeah, me too. But when you go back and look at it, it's like
But
I remember GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64 looking
Yeah,
awesome.
I know.
And you go back and you watch it, and the people have
Like,
these
ugh.
polygon heads and stuff like the
Ugh. Yeah.
like really beautiful Russian girl from
Right,
the
right.
movie like has this big blocky polygon.
Well, I remember
head.
Doom was pretty exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go back and look at the graphics now. I'm like, what is that blob?
Yeah, what is that even supposed
At the
to
time,
be?
I thought, oh, it's like some weird, it's like devil gargoyle thing. And now I'm like,
Yeah.
The most recent, though, is Zelda. I keep trying to help you here with
Okay.
because I'll make the arguments for you. So Zelda started in 1986.
86, yeah.
And we are in 2021. People are still
Well, it
playing
certainly
it.
gave birth to like a huge franchise. That much.
Well, the
is-
franchise, I
is
think
true.
there's 21 games, something like that. I mean, it's
There's got to be.
There's
got to be. I can think of 5 or 6 of them, and I don't play.
No,
games
there's
anymore.
and they've been making them consistently and constantly since 1986. So we're well over 20 years, 25 years, 26 years into it, and 30. I mean, it just keeps getting better and better and better and better. Using what is essentially the same tale, right? Because you got a princess, you got the same land, you got you got Link, who could be anybody, but
There's a whole like chronology. Of,
they expand, but they keep expanding on it. It's
Yeah.
almost like your D&D.
Yeah.
That they just kind of keep expanding the universe a little bit
Sure.
with new creatures,
Sure.
new monsters,
Yeah.
new tales, and everything else. But it's all this one tale, right? It's all
I don't know what
based
the
on one
stories
land.
of the more recent games are, so I couldn't comment. But
It's
I know
it's kind of more of the
I
same.
think they
I mean,
make Zelda a character in some of the other ones.
They do. They do.
think
I
so.
don't know if they do in this one or not. I know it's frustrating. It's still hard gameplay. They
Yeah.
made it. They've had to make it more difficult as the consoles have become more advanced.
Right.
Right. Because imagine playing that on like an advanced console. It'd be pretty easy to play.
So I was playing on our big screen TV at home, and I was thinking if I could have seen myself playing on a screen this size, I think my TV I played on was like a 12-inch tube box TV that I had in my room.
Was it color?
It was color.
Oh,
yeah.
well,
It
you
was
had that
color.
on you.
Yeah, I did have that.
Yeah, I had a black
though,
and white.
though I do remember having black and white.
But I will say that. So for my part, I'll give it credit in that it's spawned this huge franchise. I think they've made movies about it. I think that they made like.
Make a movie of Zelda?
I think so.
Maybe an anime.
Well, they've definitely made anime.
Yeah.
That was the thing in Japan. I don't think they've ever been released here. They made an animated series here in the States.
Well, there was a sort of general Nintendo cartoon, I think, on Saturday mornings when I was a little kid. Like, I can't even remember what was.
We got a
remember
lot
there
of
being
weird
Mario.
cartoons back then.
Yeah, there really were.
Yeah.
There was such crass merchandising.
Oh, it was terrible.
But I loved
God,
it.
it was terrible.
I loved that kind of thing.
I remember
there was a Rubik's Cube cartoon. And I used to
Kubert,
watch that.
Kubert had a cartoon.
Kubert had a cartoon.
Yeah,
I
Kubert had
remember
a
that,
cartoon.
yeah. There was this. So I don't know if you remember some of them though. There's this one enemy that's like it looks like a nose with rabbit ears, and it kind of bounces around, and you cannot kill it with anything but your swords. You have to get like really close and kill it. Always hated those guys. And I was looking at it today, and I realized that the original Japanese version of the game, so they were called Paul's Voice.
Okay.
I was like, what a weird name. You know, the Japanese people are just crazy, I guess, right? They were called that because on the original Famicom that you could play in Japan, it came with a microphone. And you had to say something to kill those characters in the game. And it just got like legacied into the American version. And we just have this impossible to kill.
Yeah, there's a whole section about the music. How the
music is awesome.
Well, the music's great,
really,
but
really
also the control of sound manipulates the gameplay, right? Like with the recorder and and so forth, and so you can do things based on what you do with sound.
Well, they ran with that in Ocarina of Time.
Right,
you can play like
that's
certain melodies would do certain things.
Yeah,
that was a pretty cool idea. I like that.
So
so I had an idea for the cocktail. It's not something I'm capable of doing.
Okay,
but what I wanted to do was it's a red healing potion, right?
Right.
What I wanted it to do was when you drink, so put something into it that would time release blue, so that while you were drinking it, it would turn blue.
Okay.
Because in the game, when you take the first sip of your red health potion, it turns into a blue health potion afterward.
It'd be cooler if you opened the bottle and like a fairy flew out. I think that'd be pretty awesome too.
Sure. I do not possess magical powers.
Well, I think that'd be absinthe, though, wouldn't it?
The fairies would
we
put a little absinthe in the bottom, so if you drink enough, you see fairies.
The green fairy.
Oh, I was going to talk about the music.
Okay, talk about the music.
I love the music to this game. I just thought it was great. I think there's a lot of 8-bit Nintendo games that they would get these Japanese guys that were just like really talented composers who put together music for these games. So this guy, whose name I forgot, the guy who composed the music for this game, wanted to just use classical music.
Yeah.
Wanted to use Bolero.
But the copyright wasn't...
But the copyright on Maurice Ravel was not expired yet in 1986. So he just sat at home for like a day and rearranged it and gave us what we have. So on the way over here, I decided to listen to Bolero, and it's totally like you can hear it, especially that bit. There's that starting music, and then it goes in the doom, doo, doo, doom, doo, doo, doom, doom. Like you can hear that in Bolero. Like I could actually, so this was the inspiration.
Got his influence.
That's why this is so good, because it's just a rearrangement of classical music. It's like, I just thought the music was pretty cool, and now I actually know what the source was, which is, classical composer, French composer. So
I was reading the backstory of not the founder, but the guy who came up with this.
Okay.
The Shigeru Miyamoto. Who is just so he started working at Nintendo in 1977. He became the interim president when the longtime president of Nintendo died in like the 90s or something like that.
Okay.
But he came up with essentially Donkey Kong. He came up with.
I was gonna say that was pretty early in Nintendo. Yeah.
He came up with. Well, I think it was when it was coin operated, so it was before they even had consoles. He came up with the concept for Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong's early. It's like 1980 or something.
I think it was like 77 in Japan.
Maybe, yeah.
And Super Mario Brothers, and then Zelda to just continue his stuff. But it's the guy's legacy is amazing. So I mean, if that's something that you want to put in the pot of, should we make it a classic because of that?
I don't know. That's not up to me.
I know, but you have to convince me. That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
I'm saving that's for my closing.
Oh, okay.
So, closing arguments.
But his story is kind of cool. So he leaned a lot on the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
So he said.
Yeah. So
there's
he
an
says.
elf.
There's an elf, sort of.
I'm not really seeing a lot of Lord of the Rings in it, but there's a Dark Lord. It's kind of. It kind of fits the definition of high fantasy.
Well, there's the Volcano Mountain or whatever it is. So it's kind of Mordor.
Yeah. So that's true, but you have to, in order to have high fantasy, you have to have a Dark Lord. You have to have it's going to take over the world. You have to have lots of magic. There's not a lot of magic. There's magic items. There's magic items, I guess. There's a ring. You get a ring.
There's fairies.
You get a ring.
Yeah,
so that's
get a ring. They're enchanted things.
Okay, so here's a question.
Okay.
When you were a kid, did you just refer to the main character of this game as Zelda, or did you have friends that weren't it? We all just called
Link
the guy Zelda when we were like I didn't know.
No,
I didn't really understand.
It was always Link.
Okay,
yeah, it was always Link.
Did you know where the name Link comes from?
Yes.
He's your link to a fantasy world.
Yeah.
I did not get that. that is actually probably going to go in there for my biggest surprise.
That was
if it's not the classical music source route, right? Well, did you have what was your biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise. My biggest surprise. So one of the things I like to do when I look at any of these things that we talk about, be it, Gulag, whatever it's called.
Archipelago.
That. Or look at the Neutron. I think
I haven't seen the Neutron.
Okay, so
I'm in my 40s. I don't care about the Neutron. I don't
actually,
care about Blade Runner.
No, it's actually pretty good.
2077.
Yeah, I don't like that one either. For me, Tron was never closed.
I didn't see it. I'm an old guy. I judge things without seeing them. Like it may be.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Amazing.
That's
I just
so
judge
awesome.
things. I don't even try them.
That's the best way to go through
how
life.
I am. Yeah,
no,
exactly.
that's the best way to go through life. I love it.
As an old person, that's what you should be doing. Yeah.
So 40s is old?
You need recharge?
Yes.
40s is old? Yeah. Yeah, 40s is old.
But is it that old? Anyway, okay.
Are you grumpy? Are you grumpy all the time?
Well, usually.
Yeah, there you go. You're
Wait,
old.
do I complain about arthritis? Not quite yet.
What in the heck is wrong
Exactly. They're getting mad at me. He's splashing stuff all over
spill
my
stuff all over the place.
$12,000
We can just cut that. We can just cut that whole sequence.
mahogany desk.
Is it really $12,000? What is it, like the one they took out of the ship from the president? The president's from the Oval Office.
Well, we had to buy it from a
Challenger desk or whatever it's called.
Close. We had to buy it for a school contract. Any case, where were we?
Yeah, no, I don't know what that desk is called. There's a desk in the Oval Office though that has a special name, and I can't think of what it's called. It's like something
Resolute.
like the Resolute desk.
Resolute
there you
desk,
go.
yeah.
There you go. That's it. Sounds right. Never been to the White House. Grew up in D.C., so I never went to a bunch of that stuff.
Why would you?
I don't know.
Because you can always go tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's always the attitude. Wherever you grow up,
Yep.
say, I'm not going to go there. I can go there tomorrow. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the only time I go to White Sands is when somebody comes to visit.
My wife is from Carlsbad.
She's not been to the caverns?
She's been to the caverns 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Twice she went with me.
That's
the other
funny.
time she went in high school.
Yeah.
That was the only time she's been there.
That's funny. What was your biggest
Oh
surprise?
no. Okay. So one of the things I always like to do is look at what is the legacy of this thing. So Wolfenstein legacy is pretty much every 3D shooter in the world.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, that's why I was emphasizing the fact that you can save and it's an open world.
Right.
So I'm saying
Right.
So yes, it spawned a franchise of Zelda games.
And then even like Hitchhiker's Guide.
But like Final Fantasy does not happen without Zelda.
Right. No, I
Like,
get that.
yeah,
what I'm saying though
what
is
I was
like,
saying.
you know, you look at the movies that we talked about, the books we've talked about, and there's all these influences. I couldn't find anything on this.
What?
Not one. I mean, influences from the original Legend of Zelda. There are a lot of influences afterwards. And I'm like, well, does that count? Because this thing has like 20 sequels to it, right?
Okay.
And some are prequels and some are sidequels or whatever you call them.
Okay.
But the point is, like, you know, this thing started in 86, and then it spawned this whole galaxy. Points in that galaxy, I mean, I think Kanye references one of them, and there's influence out there from Zelda, and it's kind of easily seen. But it's not the original. Okay. So do you trace it back to the original? I guess that's what I'm asking. Because if it weren't for
You're
the
saying
original,
people make like a reference to Ocarina of Time, but not to the original game?
I guess, but the references are like, eh.
People say it's dangerous out there, take this. It's dangerous to go alone, take this. That's kind of a funny, like,
That's a good point.
popular phrase.
Yeah, my
But
wife-
I think the general video game influence is bigger than just the franchise itself.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it being a kind of like the first game that you could save and really spend a lot of time on and stuff. I think that's huge.
You don't think any other games could have done that or would have done that
I don't know.
before this?
I mean, other people could have written Shakespeare, but they didn't, right?
Well, that's arguable.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean,
Did you use that on purpose? Because you know that there's like 5 people that supposedly wrote Shakespeare.
I don't believe that.
Kevin Bacon, or not Kevin Bacon, Francis Bacon. Yeah, there you go. Kevin Bacon. Yeah.
6 Degrees of Francis Bacon.
There you go.
You have to
He
play a
could
game
have.
where
That guy-
who was in the Tower of London with Francis Bacon? Oh no, that's Sir Walter Raleigh.
Yeah, no,
Francis
yeah.
Bacon was never in the tower.
Right.
Yeah, my bad.
That
Maybe he
great.
was. Maybe he was.
That's right up there
Roger
with my
Bacon
my
was not in the tower.
my hyperbolic chamber. I think that ranks up
hyperbolic
there with
chamber,
that. I do that, folks, every now and then. Okay.
Yep.
Forgive me.
So your biggest surprise was the lack of references to it?
You know,
saying?
I guess my biggest surprise is, like, generally speaking, if you go out and read, you know, just kind of the backstory of it, you read something like Wikipedia, which is totally untrustworthy anyway, but you also read like gamer magazines with the history and everything else. There's not a lot of out there that says, you know, if it weren't for Legend of Zelda, this wouldn't have existed. You don't see that. I mean, the other.
I'm trying to think of. I mean, even on PC, when did you start to have games that you could like save and you could go through them, and they weren't meant to be sit down and play it right now and then forget about it. They were meant to be played like over the course of several months.
Well, no, I mean,
because the first thing I ever saw that
this
there was
is more
like
of an
Ultima,
epic. Yeah, I get
more
that.
of an epic game.
Yeah,
exactly.
I get that.
I'm trying to think if even on the PC,
I do get that.
exists.
Maybe it just doesn't get credit.
Yeah.
You know, I read a lot of sources, and there's just nothing out there. Like with a lot of what we've done before this show, which is slowly gaining in popularity, every time I read something, it says, influenced all these things. Right. And you can see traces of X going back to Y,
Sure.
But I didn't see it. I expected it, and I guess that's a surprise thing.
I think what you've got is
it.
Shigeru Miyamoto had a couple of really big ideas for games, and it's hard to remember how influential they were because, like I said, it used to be like Pac-Man was just play as far as you can go. Just Donkey Kong, for instance,
goes faster and
Donkey
faster
Kong, for
and
instance,
faster.
Went faster and faster and faster until you get to a kill screen.
Right.
And that's it. You're done. You can't go any farther.
Get it. Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers was one of the first games where they were like, no, you beat this game.
Yeah, you have to do something.
Rescue the princess,
you get somewhere.
The game is over, and you get credit for beating the game.
Right.
And I think Zelda expanded that so that not only could you beat the game, but you could kind of wander around the world.
Right.
That's a big innovation.
It is.
It's really like,
yes,
probably somebody would have thought of it, but
I'm not discounting any of that.
It was much like if you listen to the backstory for how the guy came up with Pokemon, it was he liked to wander around Japan,
see bugs and
see bugs and catch bugs. And this guy's backstory was that he liked to just go hiking, and wander and stumble upon a lake.
See, I get all that. I'm not discounting any of that though. I'm not discounting the creator. I'm not discounting the origin story. Nothing. All I'm saying is that I found it surprising.
Oh,
that
I see.
In all, I'm not.
You found it surprising it doesn't get as much credit. As
yes.
Okay, got
it. What I'm saying is like everything else you see, like Macbeth. We did Macbeth. At the end of every article in Macbeth, it's like this movie is basically Macbeth, and this movie is like a new retelling of Macbeth, and it's like all these, like things that like direct legacy of it, right? This is spawned a franchise of like 21 other like games.
Sure. Well, that's why I was downplaying the importance of the franchise. I think it did more than.
I would agree. It's just what I found surprising was there was none of that because this was a huge game. I mean, this thing dropped like a bomb when I was a kid. So 86, I was 12 years old.
So the first Final Fantasy game comes out in 87.
A year later.
Not an accident.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, so if I'm looking here, Final Fantasy's got 15 numbered main entries. It's done 159 million software units worldwide in the whole thing. So if Zelda's responsible for that, that's a pretty powerful influence. So not only did it spawn its own franchise, but it spawned that one and sort of brought. I'm trying to link up in my mind when the PC started doing games like this because there were games, but I think they were in the late 80s. I think it was after this.
I would say
there were Dungeons and Dragons games, for instance.
Yeah,
where
it had to have been like the first. Had to have been like the first
Pools of Radiance.
The first Windows. So that would have been like 86 to 88, something like that.
I think it's after this.
Yeah.
I don't think you could play a game like this.
I remember playing games in 92 on a Windows where you'd have start it with DOS, run Windows. And I think that was, and you could save games, go back to it, stuff like that. So it was probably about then. So like I said, I'm not discounting any of its legacy. I'm just saying that was surprising to me that it doesn't get very much credit.
I like that. Anything else to say about the game? Anything else to talk about? Any personal memories of playing Zelda?
No, I mean I enjoyed playing it. I enjoyed the the walk, the sentimental walk.
So here's a question. It's like a technical question about Nintendo, and I guess it's more or less rhetorical because I don't think you or I have the capacity to answer this.
You never know.
When you go to turn off your Zelda game, you are supposed to hold down the reset button and the power button.
Yes.
And to turn it off.
Yes.
Why? Does it do anything?
That supposedly saves all your progress.
Is it like spitting in your hand to solemnify a contract? Or is it just
I don't
be
know.
Careful turning this off?
No, I think it supposedly there are certain attributes or things that you can get, like canoe or whatever, a raft rather. Yeah, there are those things that you can get that you can only ensure that you save them by doing that. For some reason, I don't know why. But
I'll tell you what. After I got that magic boomerang, I made sure to save because I was like that was really hard to get. I do not want to have to do that again. But that was because I failed to go around and get all. You can actually. I found a walkthrough that would take you around the overworld to get you everything you can just walk into and get that powers you up. And that's what I mean about the sort of sandboxy open world nature. Is really just from square one. You can walk out there and quest yourself quite a bit of gear and not even go after the dungeons at all. And actually, I remember being amazed that I could walk up and walk into Dungeon 5.
Sure.
and just get murdered right away, because I wasn't ready for it. But they were like, you're allowed to do it. It's like a libertarian version of video games. It's like, you're stupid enough to walk into Dungeon 5? Well, fine. Walk into Dungeon 5. It's a free country. You're just dead.
Right. Which is,
you don't have to go get a raft so you can cross.
So we're coming to a close here, but I do want to say before we leave that if you think back, the only other video game we've done here, so that's kind of my point of reference, is Wolfenstein. And there were like, I think 3 people, right, on that entire game. Okay?
That worked on,
I don't know how many people worked on this game.
At least 3. But
it's
more than that.
But you have to understand, like, they had that map in front of them. Like, they built this world.
Right.
In a real 3-dimensional world. They probably wrote out this map. They drew it out.
2-dimensional anyway.
Or 2-dimensional, right. But I mean, they drew this whole thing out. They envisioned it. And they envisioned what you just said. Like, let's let somebody do that. I mean, because that's a choice that the programmers have to do.
Right.
Game manufacturing is pretty cool that way because they're making a world.
Right.
I mean, they're almost like, it's this weird kind of God analogy thing. They're making this world, and they're making choices on what you're able to do in that world.
Sure.
These guys made the choice to let people kind of roam freely and
more or less.
Sort of do what
there are things you can't do until
you
get certain items, but generally speaking, you can go wherever.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, and that was very revolutionary because you had to go from one to one level to the next level to the next level.
You couldn't just wander around Super Mario Brothers.
Right.
and
exactly.
Get killed. Cause,
well, there's a timer. There's everything else going on.
Actually, you know what? Part of that is because if you were on level 8, you were Mario. Mario's the same on every board. He doesn't get items. He doesn't power. He gets a mushroom and gets bigger, but he can do that all the time.
Right.
You start as little tiny Mario on every board, so you wouldn't be able to do that. But that was a lot of that has to do with the memory, right?
Yeah.
You have to have the memory.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I guess, I don't know. I guess you have to have the memory in order to even think of doing it that way.
Right.
This inspired me when I was a little kid. I came up, there was this kid that we used to he wasn't even in my school anymore, but he was like the villain. Everybody would think of him as the villain. And I drew up a map of like about a 4-mile square radius around my house as like a Zelda game that you could wander around this and battle against this guy Mark Cassell and his minions. Like,
you have to bleep out the names.
Why?
I don't know.
Come at me, bro.
Okay, well, you are a lawyer.
Yeah, but I didn't say anything bad about him. I just said I made a game where everybody had to battle him.
You said he was a villain.
He's not actually the Dark Lord trying to take over Fairfax, Virginia.
That, legally affiliated.
He was a very serious Nintendo player also.
That's what it was. So he beat you at
Do you guys
something.
have Fuddruckers out here?
No.
The burger place? Okay.
God, I wish we did.
Well, there was
this
it
Albuquerque.
was really, really good. But there was this burger place called Fuddruckers, and they had a stand-up Nintendo that you could select from like 20 different games and play them.
Right.
It was so much fun. And I ran into this guy one time. I went up and I talked to him, and he was like, oh, you have to play this game. He had this crazy way of talking. He was like, you have to play Gradius. It's the best game ever. Like, get in here and play it. And so we were like playing together, and I was like, I don't mind this guy.
So he sounds like an old Jewish guy from New York.
That's what his background was.
Yeah.
Like his family was from there, and he had this like serious like Bronx accent or something. It was really funny because it's actually how a lot of people in my family talk. So
you did a good job on that. Do you remember what Fuddruckers' slogan was? Come on, it was really classy.
I don't think so.
You've never been rucked until you've been Fuddrucked.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, not where I grew up, they didn't have that slogan.
That's what it was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is a very classy place, I might add.
Oh, man, I can like taste their burgers right now. I wish that still existed.
Good stuff.
Maybe it still does somewhere.
Yeah.
I would get me a Fuddruckers burger if I could right now. There was one on 14th Street in D.C., and if you were out for beers, everybody would just go to Fuddruckers at like midnight. They were open till like 3 in the morning. Get a Fuddruckers burger after being out, like having drinks. Was the best.
I'm sure the people that work there loved that. They loved it.
There would be like fist fights. I remember watching this gigantic, overweight like dude get in a big fight and get thrown over the counter.
That's my burger.
Yeah,
Give me my burger.
This is in D.C.
Yeah,
a different 14th Street.
Yeah.
14th Street. Sorry, I didn't specify, but this is my stomping.
But like I said,
Mark Cassell's stomping.
I'm sure the people that work there loved the 3 a.m.
Can you
shift.
imagine working in a place
No.
like that? No, I can't.
No.
I always think that because there's places where
YouTube
there's
videos.
always fights and there's always stuff going on. Do you know what's at one place where there are very many fights? They actually did a Freakonomics episode about it. Chuck E. Cheese.
Really?
Yeah. Freakonomics did an economic study of why there would be fights at Chuck E. Cheese.
I need to look
And
into that
because
one.
there's no incentive to stop playing the games.
Okay.
So people just monopolize them, and then people
Oh,
get into a scrap about it. That was a total theory. They weren't there for the fights. They don't know what happened, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
wouldn't be here. I mean, nobody cared.
I mean, we have Chuck E. Cheese. I didn't see anybody getting in any fights. They did. They used to sell beer. I don't know if they still do.
They still do.
They still
There are
do.
two
Okay.
unmarked taps. They're very small against the wall. They're totally innocuous.
Wow.
You could barely even see
You
them.
could still drink at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
there's like a light beer and then like a regular beer. I think it's
By the
like
way-
probably like Bud.
By the way,
Light.
before our kids get too big,
Yes.
I think we should take them over to Chuck E. Cheese.
If it ever freaking reopens,
get
yes.
them an unlimited pass.
And then get
And
some
just
beers.
get a couple of pitchers of beer and watch
You
them.
know
knock
what's
heads
funny?
together for
Okay.
a couple hours.
This I know you're gonna say, you're gonna cut all this out. So, but this is funny.
No, I'm not. This is
So Chuck E. Cheese, you order beer from the unmarked taps.
okay.
Okay, one at a time. They come in a small plastic, unmarked
We can't
container,
get a pitcher of beer.
Nope.
Oh man.
and then they bring it to your table.
yeah.
You can't even take it with you.
How much does it cost?
I don't know, but there's another franchise out here called Peter Piper Pizza.
yeah.
Sell you as many as you want.
Huh.
They'll sell you
Well,
pitchers.
Peter Piper is a lot better. Like the food is a lot better
Oh
than Chuck E.
God,
Cheese.
so much better. Yeah.
But the games are not as good.
Games are terrible and it's more expensive.
Yeah.
But the
more
beer's
expensive,
good and they sell it in pitchers.
Yes.
All right, so with that, we're coming to the
yeah.
end
Here we have moment of truth.
of the episode.
Moment of truth.
All
I
right.
believe. I mean, I've stated most of my arguments already.
Okay.
I'm saying.
Any
that-
last nudges
any
here?
last words?
Any last
Those-
nudges to push me over the edge?
I mean, clearly it led to a huge franchise. I think
Yes.
it's responsible. I think it's arguable that it's responsible for any open world game that requires an epic style of play, like
Okay.
going back to the game over the course of months rather than just a one-time play experience. I think
Right.
it was the first time we ever saw that in a video game. It's the first time I ever saw it.
Mhm.
So that would be my major argument for
Yeah.
it. I think that's super influential, super early. It's still fun to play. I'm playing it today, and I had fun. I'm sorry
Right.
you had a bad experience with your emulator.
Yeah.
I think that might be coloring your appreciation of
No,
this classic. But
it's not because I have the golden cartridge
Yeah.
at home right now. I'm gonna get those stupid pins
only
replaced.
cartridge that ever was any other color,
I know,
just gray
right?
too.
They re-released it in like '92 in gray, by the way.
Okay.
But yeah, so I've got it at home. I'm gonna replace the pins in my NES, and
Okay.
I'll be playing it. But for my part, the guy that says whether or not we're toasting it, definitely classic, definitely a legacy. I'm all for this game.
Okay.
I think you can't talk to a Gen Xer.
I don't know if you were just like yanking my chain, but you
About
had me like I was like worried. I was like, are you really not going to say Zelda's a classic? Like I feel like
Well, no, and that was a genuine surprise for me. I disagreed with
yeah.
all of that. I mean, they should put in how many things it's influenced. I mean, maybe they don't know. I don't know. But I mean, look, you talk to any Gen Xer, which is the best generation ever, and
recently I have started to see myself as being Gen X when I look at what the definition of Gen X is. I used to
yeah.
not be Gen X. I used to be like Gen Y or something, and it's changed. The definition has changed. I'm right on the cusp. Even now, I'm right on the cusp.
we'll claim you.
But yeah.
But I mean, you look at that generation and you talk to them about NES, and there's just a few games. There's probably like Super Mario Brothers, but Zelda is definitely probably one that everybody played. So I mean, there's the nostalgia factor, but like you said, first memory game, on and on and on. So yep, I'm toasting the classic.
All right.
Got a little bit left.
Cheers. I
Cheers.
barely have anything left.
All right, that was a good clink too.
These crystal glasses are definitely designed to get you a good
we'll have to do
clink.
that next time.
Yeah, we got to bring these next time.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in this time to episode something 19, 18.
This is
19.
officially 19. Yeah.
Toasting
Apple
Classics.
Podcast is labeling our stuff wrong. I think it's because I originally uploaded, then deleted, then uploaded the first episode because I was having trouble figuring out. how
that
to
might
do
have
things.
something to do with it.
So I think that's why it does it that way. But
So-
I did it on Podbean, so I don't know why it's doing that on Apple.
Well, thank you for joining us. Please remember to comment, subscribe.
Rate and review us.
Rate
if you're
and
listening
review,
on Apple
please.
Podcasts, it's a big deal for us to get
Yeah.
reviews. I mean, I'd like people to go on and say something nice.
Yeah.
I'd like people to say something eloquent, but all we need is literally numbers of reviews to
And-
get us up in the ratings and get us the algorithms.
We would appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
This is all obviously commercial free, ad free, all that stuff.
That's right. It's a labor of love.
And next episode, we are Coming back with something a little bit more serious.
Going back to books.
Yeah, going back to books. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. So
Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Betty Smith.
Betty Smith.
Yeah.
So join us for that. I don't know what the cocktail is for that yet.
Okay.
But it'll be something.
I need to know by 11 o'clock Tuesday morning before I put together the outro and drop the podcast.
All right.
So.
We will have that for you.
Okay.
So thanks again for joining us. And
thank you for joining us.
For Clint Lanier and
Dave McArthur.
We're out.
Peace
Bye.
out.
That's it for episode 19 of Toasting the Classics. For those who are playing along at home, get some Irish whiskey for next week, where we'll be talking about the novel A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. For those who'd like to get in touch, send us an email at toastingtheclassics@gmail.com. Send us show ideas, comments, complaints, and tips on how to get a hold of that pesky magic boomerang. Check out my blog at theattractivenuisance.com and follow us on Twitter at @RactiveNuisance. Our music was written by Michelle McArthur. See you next time on Toasting the Classics.